Welcome to the Therapy Show podcast. I'm your host, Lisa Mustard. In each episode, I interview a seasoned and knowledgeable talk therapist from the counseling world to glean valuable insights, techniques, and tools that you can apply to your practice and your life. And if you're considering a career in the counseling field or just want to hear about what it's like to be a talk therapist, then this is the podcast for you. So it's Saturday, and that means another Put It Into Practice episode is here. And I actually had another topic planned for this Saturday, which I will come back to. However, I had a couple of things happen to me this week, and I'm not going to go into detail. But I'll tell you a little bit about what went down. I am a mom, I'm a wife, and I'm a therapist. And I think a lot of people assume I have it all together because I am a therapist, and that couldn't be further from the truth. I struggle a good bit with some parenting issues, and it kind of came to a head for me the past couple of days. And I won't really go into detail because I don't want to put my kids out there too much. And honestly, it comes back to me and how I parent, not about, my kids or the issues that I seem to be struggling with when it comes to being a mom. And what I finally realized was that I have a lot of stuff from growing up and, being a daughter myself and being a parent. It all kind of came crashing in. Pardon my emotion, but I'm being real with you guys. And I wanted to go ahead and record this as I was feeling it too. So because I know what it's like to struggle. I know what it's like to feel stuck. And what happened, everybody's fine. Everything's okay. Nobody's hurt. Nobody's, it all comes back to my own stuff that I still struggle with. And a lot of it has to do with attachment issues that I have from growing up. My father wasn't around since I was, I don't know, at the age of 8. And I was raised by a single mom. And I just have a lot of stuff from that time of my life. And those of you that know me, my friends from growing up and back home in Virginia, probably remember, seeing me go through a lot of stuff in my teens. And I still struggle with some of those things. And I feel like I'm just repeating myself over and over again. But what happens is when I try work to parent my children, some of that stuff pops up. And all I can do is work to be better and work to understand myself better. And one of the things that helps me do that is mindfulness. And I've been really practicing mindfulness the past couple of days. And it's gotten better for me as I practice mindfulness and being aware of my thoughts and my feelings and my actions. And I wanted to share with you guys what mindfulness is and give you some tips on using it in your life, using it when you find yourself maybe triggered by something or upset by something or frustrated by something. And I also wanted to tell you about a service that I use that I have found to be really, really helpful when it comes to mindfulness. Okay, so emotion has kind of come back down a little bit. I can speak a little bit more without feeling like I'm going to just start bawling. Okay, so what is mindfulness? So mindfulness is the practice of being fully present and engaged in the current moment without judgment or distraction. It involves focusing one's attention on the present experience, including thoughts, feelings, bodily sensations, and the surrounding environment in a non-judgmental way. Now, when I get triggered or I get emotional by, whatever's going on in the moment, mindfulness is a really hard thing to channel in, right? However, so we practice mindfulness when we're not in those emotional states. Okay, so it's often practiced through various techniques such as meditation, breathing exercises, and body scans. And it has been shown to have a wide range of benefits, including reduced stress and anxiety, improved focus and concentration, increased emotional regulation, which is what I'm going for, and greater overall well-being. But like I said, mindfulness is something that you have to practice. You have to get into a mindfulness practice. You can't just channel it when you're starting to feel triggered, which I'm working on. The practice of mindfulness has its roots in ancient Buddhist traditions, but it has been adapted and secularized for modern use in a variety of contexts, including healthcare, education, and corporate settings, which I think is really, really fascinating. And mindfulness has been shown to have a wide range of benefits for mental and physical health. And here are some ways that mindfulness can help. It can help reduce stress and anxiety. It helps me manage stress and anxiety by improving my ability to regulate my emotions and focus on the present moment. Like I said, working on that. Improving mental health. Studies have shown that mindfulness can be helpful in reducing symptoms of depression and improving overall mental well being. It can help boost cognitive performance. Mindfulness practice has been shown to enhance cognitive abilities such as attention, working memory, and executive function. And I can get on board with that because the more I practice mindfulness, I notice that my attention is more focused, my memory's better, can quote unquote multitask. That term, I don't really like that term, but it helps me stay focused. I'll say that. It can help enhance relationships. It can improve communication and empathy, which can strengthen relationships with others, all types of relationships. It also can improve physical health. It has been shown to be helpful in managing chronic pain, reducing blood pressure, and improving sleep quality. And it helps promote self awareness. Mindfulness can help people become more aware of their thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, which can lead to a greater self understanding and personal growth. So, really, that's why I love mindfulness too, is it helps me remain self-aware, which helps me in the moment when I'm having a discussion with my kids, I guess you could say. But overall, it can help you develop a greater sense of well-being, and it can be beneficial for anyone seeking to improve their mental and physical health. So, all right, the next question is, all right, Lisa, so how do you become more mindful? And there are many ways to become more mindful. And remember that what works best for one person may not work for another, but these are just some general tips that can help you. Now, don't forget, mindfulness is a skill. It's a skill, y'all, and it takes practice. And it's normal to have thoughts or distractions arise during your practice. But the key in mindfulness is to gently bring your attention back to the present moment without judgment. So remember, this is a skill, and like a skill, you have to practice it for you to become good at a skill, right? You have to practice. And don't be too judgmental on yourself if it's something that you have a tough time maybe getting started with. I mean, I sure do. And I have to be very mindful of my mindfulness skill. All right. So starting to become more mindful can be a simple process. And here are a couple steps to get you started. So the first one is you want to set an intention. Decide that you want to become more mindful and make it a priority in your life. This could involve setting a specific goal, such as practicing mindfulness for a few minutes each day. You also, number two, is begin with small steps. So start by incorporating small moments of mindfulness into your day, such as taking a few deep breaths or pausing to appreciate the present moment. Next is to choose a mindfulness technique. There are many different mindfulness techniques, such as breath awareness, body scans, guided meditations, but choose a technique that resonates with you and start practicing it regularly. Now, I was at one point using my husband. He uses an app called Waking Up, and I did use that for a little bit, but for some reason it wasn't for me. So I went looking for something else that resonated better, and I found the mindfulness app, and I've been using that for a couple months now. I really like it. I highly recommend it. In fact, if you want to give it a try, there's a link in the show notes that you can click on and get access for 7 days of free mindfulness app services. It's great. You can also get a free course on transforming your relationship with anxiety. I haven't started that yet, but I'm going to. All right. So that's just one thing that you can do. There are plenty of free videos out there on YouTube. I'm sure there are other apps out there. I just really like this mindfulness app. Okay. The next step is to be patient and compassionate with yourself. Mindfulness is a skill that takes time to develop. So be patient with yourself and don't get discouraged if you find your mind wandering during your practice. Always approach yourself with compassion and kindness when it comes to a new skill, especially like mindfulness that you are working to develop. Also, seek guidance. You can take a class, work with a teacher. Like I said, use the guided meditation app to help you get started with your practice and to deepen your understanding and experience of it. So, you can also start with short mindfulness practices. That's what I do. I have a few minutes every morning that I set aside per day. And then I increase the time of my mindfulness as I go along. So in the beginning, it was super short. It was like a minute. And then I went up to 3 minutes. And now I'm about 5 minutes. I'm pretty good with 5 minutes. And like I said earlier, you want to set aside time for mindfulness. Choose a time and place where you can focus on your practice without distractions. That's for me, that is after the girls and my husband leave for work and school, I then start my mindfulness practice with the app. Another thing that really helps me, and this is another tip, is to focus on your breath. And it's one of the most common mindfulness practices is to actually focus on your breath. You take deep breaths, observe the sensation of air moving in and out of your body. That's about as mindful as you can get, right? Just how you take in air and how it feels in your body. Observe your thoughts and feelings and notice the thoughts and feelings that arise during your mindfulness practice without judging or reacting to them. That's part of mindfulness, is being able to just observe thoughts and feelings and not react. You want to practice regularly. Consistency is key when it comes to mindfulness. Try to practice it every day, even if it's just for a few minutes. And last but not least, incorporate mindfulness into daily activities. So you can also practice mindfulness during everyday things like walking, eating, or doing chores by focusing on the present moment and paying attention to your senses. Now, remember, mindfulness is a process, and it's important to be gentle with yourself as you begin to cultivate this skill. With practice and patience, you can develop greater mindfulness and reap the many benefits it offers. So, I want to go back to how mindfulness helps me when it comes to parenting. Well, it helps me just calm down first and foremost. It helps me calm down. It helps me pay attention to what my body is doing and how I'm like reacting in the moment. And then once I have the awareness of these things that I'm doing, I can make a choice the next time I walk into a situation where, oh, there goes my phone, where I'm having to parent or do something that I'm not necessarily, I know that something unpleasant might arise from it. And mindfulness really helps kind of ground me and helps me remember that I can, I have a choice in how I want to show up. I have a choice in how I want to respond. And I have a choice in what I say and what I do. And mindfulness just, brings me back down to grounds me. And it's been probably one of the best things that I have learned to do over the past couple of years. And when these tips say that it improves mental and physical well-being, I truly believe that. And I believe it comes back to being self-aware and knowing how I want to respond in the moment. So I hope this is helpful for you guys. I highly recommend the mindfulness app. Like I said, you can get a 7-day free trial of the app. You can also get this free course, Transforming Your Relationship with Anxiety. On the mindfulness app, there's over like 2,000 meditations, sleep music, calming music, nature escapes, and more. There's daily mindfulness video meditations, 365 days a year, hundreds of courses and tools to help you manage anxiety, sleep, and stress, expert guidance from world leading mindfulness teachers. And if you decide to purchase it, they do have a 30-day mindfulness guarantee that if you don't love it, they'll give you your money back. So I think it's been really helpful for me. I recommend it to friends and family. And there's some stuff on there too for kids. It's been really great. So I hope you guys found this episode helpful. And I will be back in your earbuds next Saturday with another Put It Into Practice episode. It's important to stress that these episodes are not meant to take the place of any work you're doing with your therapist or doctor. In fact, please run these ideas by your counselor or doctor before you act on them to make sure you are ready for them or even a fit for the suggestions. I can't stress this enough. Each person is unique and their situation is unique. So please talk to your doctor or counselor before starting anything new I might be suggesting. The Therapy Show with Lisa Mustard and the information provided by me is solely intended for informational and entertainment purposes and is not a substitute for advice, diagnosis, or treatment regarding medical or mental health conditions. Although I am a licensed marriage and family therapist, the views expressed on this site, podcast, or any related content should not be taken for medical or psychiatric advice. Always consult your physician before making any decisions related to your physical or mental health. Well, that wraps up another episode of The Therapy Show with Lisa Mustard. I know there are hundreds of thousands of podcasts out there, and I'm thankful you've chosen to listen to mine.
Be sure to visit lisamustard.com to access the show notes and discover more fantastic content.
And I'd be grateful if you subscribe to the show. Thank you.